ancient truth for the modern week. From the dusty roads of the first century to the high-speed life of the 21st, we're stripping away the tradition to find the heart of the story. I'm your host, Joe, and this is Monday to Sunday. I want to start today with a scene from a kitchen, or a tent, really. Picture it. A man comes in from the field. He's been out there all day, hunting, working, and he's spent. He's the kind of tired where your judgment gets thin, and he smells something. His brother's got a pot going, red lentil stew, simmering over the fire. And in that moment, hungry, exhausted, and a little dramatic about it, he says something I think most of us have said in some version of our lives. He says, "I'm about to die. What good is a birthright to me?" Hold on to that scene, because we're going to come back to it. But first I want to back all the way up, because this story starts before these two men are even born. Isaac marries Rebekah, and like his mother Sarah before her, Rebekah can't conceive. For 20 years they wait. Isaac prays. And finally the Lord answers, and she becomes pregnant with twins. But the pregnancy is agony. The children, Genesis says, struggle together within her. They're wrestling in the womb. And Rebekah is so troubled by it that she says something that ought to stop us in our tracks. She says, "If it is to be this way, why do I live?" I want you to sit with that for a second, because that is a real prayer. That is a woman in the middle of something she doesn't understand, saying, "Lord, what is happening to me? Why is this so hard?" And notice what she does with that question. She doesn't just stew in it. Genesis says, she went to inquire of the Lord. She takes her confusion straight to God. And God answers her. He says, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples born of you shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger." Do you hear how big that is? What feels to Rebekah like a personal ordeal, this painful, confusing pregnancy, is actually the opening chapter of a nation, of a lineage, of a story that will run all the way down through the generations to Christ himself. She thinks she's just in pain. God tells her she's carrying history. I think there's a word in that for us right before we even get to the stew. Sometimes the struggle inside you is bigger than you can see from where you're standing. Sometimes the wrestling isn't a sign that God has forgotten you. Sometimes it's the beginning of something he's building. Rebekah couldn't see it. She just felt the pain. But God was at work in the very thing that was troubling her. So the twins are born. Esau comes first, red, covered in hair. Then Jacob, gripping his brother's heel. And they grow up different. Esau is a man of the field, a hunter, his father's favorite. Jacob's quieter, stays among the tents, his mother's favorite. Already you can feel the tension in this family. Already the divisions God spoke of are taking shape. And now we're back to the stew. Jacob is cooking. Esau comes in from the field, famished. And he says, "Let me eat some of that red stuff, for I am famished." And Jacob, and let's be honest, Jacob is no hero here. Jacob sees an opening. He says, "First sell me your birthright." Now what's a birthright? For the firstborn son, it was everything. The double portion of the inheritance, the leadership of the family, the blessing that carried the covenant forward. It was his future, his identity, his place in the story God was telling. And Esau's answer is one of the saddest lines in Genesis. He says, "I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me?" He wasn't actually about to die. He was hungry. He'd skipped a meal. But in that moment, the growl in his stomach felt louder than his whole future. So he swore an oath, sold his birthright, ate the bread and the lentil stew, got up, and went on his way. And Genesis lands the whole thing with one devastating sentence. Thus Esau despised his birthright. That word despised always stops me cold. Because Esau didn't hate his birthright. He wasn't sitting there thinking, "I want to throw my future away." He just didn't value it in the moment his stomach was growling. He let the urgent shout down the important, the temporary crowded out the eternal. And by the time the meal was over, it was gone. Here's what I keep coming back to. Esau's mistake wasn't that he was hungry. Being hungry is human. Having needs is human. His mistake was that he let the loudest need in the room set the price for everything else. He let the appetite of the moment do the negotiating. And I don't know about you, but I do this. I do this more than I'd like to admit. We trade long-term good for short-term relief all the time. We trade the birthright for the stew. We trade the marriage for the argument we just have to win in the moment. We trade our integrity for the shortcut that gets us there faster. We trade tomorrow's peace for tonight's impulse. We trade the deep thing for the loud thing, because the loud thing is right in front of us, and the deep thing can wait. Except it can't always wait. Some things, once traded, don't come back. Esau found that out. Later in Genesis, when he wants the blessing back, when he weeps and begs for it, it's gone. He made a permanent decision in a temporary mood. So how do we not become Esau? How do we keep the hungry moment from setting our price? That's where the psalm comes in today, and it is the perfect medicine for this story. Psalm 119. Your word is a lantern to my feet and a light upon my path. I love that image, and I love that it's a lantern and not a floodlight. A lantern doesn't light up the whole road ahead of you. It doesn't show you the next 10 years. It lights the next few steps. Just enough to keep walking, keep from stumbling, keep going in the right direction. And that's usually how it works, isn't it? God rarely shows us the whole map. He gives us enough light for the next faithful step. And listen to how the psalmist prays in the middle of his own trouble. He says, I am deeply troubled. He's not pretending everything's fine. He's in it, just like Rebekah was in it. But then he says, I have applied my heart to fulfill your statutes forever and to the end. Forever and to the end. Do you hear the difference between that and Esau? Esau couldn't see past the next meal. The psalmist is thinking, forever and to the end. One man let the moment rule him, the other let the long view rule the moment. And that's the choice, really. In every hungry, tired, dramatic moment, we get to decide who's setting the price. The appetite or the lantern? So here's the question I want to leave you with today, and I want you to actually answer it, not just nod at it. What's your bowl of stew? What's the thing that feels so urgent right now, so loud, so immediate, that you're tempted to trade away something that actually matters? Is it your patience? Traded away for the satisfaction of snapping at someone? Is it your prayer time? Traded away for 30 more minutes of scrolling? Is it your character? Traded away for a shortcut at work? Is it your family? Traded away, an hour at a time, for things that felt urgent and turned out not to be? Name it, because you can't guard what you won't name. Esau ate, drank, got up, and went on his way. Genesis says he didn't even look back. He didn't feel the weight of what he'd done until it was far too late to undo it. Don't let the hungry moment set your price. Let the lantern light your next step instead. Forever and to the end. I'm Joe, and this has been Monday to Sunday. Thanks for walking this road with me. Now take this truth into your week, and I'll see you on the next chapter.